Live. We are live, lunchtime live, right here on the YouTubes. Hello and welcome to another Death by Bunjie live stream. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to make some Philly cheesesteaks for lunch. I rushed home. I got some of the goodies around. I'm sitting here in the kitchen and I rushed around. I've got the pan. I threw the pan on there, got that nice and hot. You can see the burner down there getting nice and warm. And I figured you guys can join me for some lunch. I went and cleaned up some mushrooms, got those going. And I've got an onion right here to make some Philly cheesesteaks with out of what, right? Out of venison, of course. I'm going to use it with venison. Daniel Garcia from Texas. Hello to you. You probably don't know much about Philly cheesesteaks down in Texas because you don't have Philadelphia. I don't know about that. But everybody likes Philly cheesesteaks. You can't go wrong with that stuff. I actually have that burner on there, and I'm not real good with that burner. We have an electric stove, and I'm going to melt some butter in there to get the onions going first and foremost. So that burner is on, and I'm going to take a couple slabs of butter here real quick, like nothing fancy, just a couple slabs of butter. Throw those in there, and I'm going to get started with the overall cooking process. 15 people on here. This is kind of an experiment. I'm going to embarrass myself in front of 15 friends of Bunjie over lunch. Probably going to embarrass myself because I've never done one of these live. But I've made these Philly cheesesteaks this way 100 times, and I have just the right ingredients out here, just the right amount of stuff left to use up, and I thought, oh, this will be perfect. We'll try and do this on the phone, see if it works. We'll play it by ear. Man, look at you guys. Good afternoon, Chris Weaver. Hello to you. El Martin, good to hear from you. And Jim Booze, nothing better, Rich. You got that right, Philly cheesesteaks. If you saw that thumbnail, that was from a previous effort, one of the other times I did this. I think I did a video on this before, just not a live stream. But very important, while that butter is over here, I guess that burner's getting nice and hot. You can see here, our butter's getting going. Look at this dude. This is a spoonula. Half spatula, half spoon, I guess. But we got that going good. We should be happy with that. If I need to add more butter, I have plenty more butter on hand. I'm going to take this little dude right here. And normally I would have Miss Genevieve here, and she would be running the camera for me. I don't know how this is going to work. But you can see that I got my onion right here, and I'm going to use this knife and go through here and dice up my onion and get that in here. The sooner we get that onion going, the happier we are going to be. So I'm using the same paring knife that I used for the butter, and I'm going through and I am going to dice this up. This little gizmo works just sweet for this. I have a chopper that I use for onions that makes nice little cube diced onions. Problem with the old chopper, and every time I use it, I always imitate Arnold Schwarzenegger and call it the chopper. And my family gets irritated with that because it's kind of, one of those fun things that you like to do. But you can see what that does, cutting it right through there. Now I got all these cut up. I'm just going to continue working on this. If I had somebody else run the camera for me, this would be a whole different ballgame, right? We'd be able to sit here and go through it a little bit better. But I'm just going to try and see the best I can to get this to work. But the big thing is get these diced up into small little pieces here with the onions without cutting my fingers. I don't need to be cutting myself on a live stream. I actually added that as a special effect once a long time ago on a live stream. That was pretty cool. But it takes a little bit of time, of course, to get these onions right here, these dudes, to get these dudes fried up and get them translucent. So they're going in the pan first. I got them right here on the cutting board. Just going over here, putting them in there in the butter. Yes, there's a lot of onions, but like I was saying, I'm just kind of using up some stuff that I had. Swing you around here so you can see what we're doing. But just going to work that in good, get them going. They're going to need some more butter. We're going to give them some more butter. Lots of butter. Butter makes this whole process both easier and tastier. By the time I'm done, I'm probably going to have half a stick of butter in here. Half of a half stick of butter. I'm going to put that on here. And my ring. I really do need an apron, don't I? I need an apron. Hold on. I'm getting one. Let's go with this one. I do have to go back to work afterwards, so I got to have the appropriate apron on, right, to protect myself. Love deer meat cheese steaks. Doesn't get any better. Jim Manning, hello to you. Deer sandwich. That's about what it is, right? That's a good way to put it. It is a deer sandwich. It is one of the many ways that we can enjoy the bounty of the harvest. The wild game. Have you seen my apron? That is a lyric from a song I wrote called Carnivore. Some of you guys will recognize that probably. So that's actually frying up there real nice. It's a real nice. Remember that from Christmas Vacation? But we'll keep that butter worked in there and get this guy moving. We have an electric stove, right? And I do like the electric stove. I'm surprised by that. But the pans are not flat, and if you don't have both hands on the pan, sometimes you run into this little problem here. What I'm going to do is salt and pepper a little bit on those onions. At this point, I'll just throw a little bit of pepper in there. That stuff, I'm going to add salt and pepper as we go through, but I do like to get it started a little bit. And you know what I'm going to do? Just thought of this. I saw these here. I'm going to add some jalapenos, right? Jalapeno peppers. You got to add them. You have to. It's like the rules. Chuck Smith likes the apron. That's cool. Yeah, these are dehydrated jalapenos. Holy cow. It is worth it to have these on hand just to be able to smell that. But man, oh, if you knew what you were missing. I'm just going to sprinkle them in there. They need to go in a little early because they need that butter to soak up and lubricate. They need to sort of rehydrate throughout that process. But we'll stick them there, and then I'll get my spoonula, work that in there. We're probably a little light on butter too. Already I can tell that. And once these onions start to get a little translucent, then we're going on to the mushrooms. We're putting the mushrooms in there too. Now these are all cleaned. I ran water over them here in the sink and the collar, got them going good. But they need a little time in there because frankly, if the mushrooms don't get nice and cooked in good, then they don't taste as good. The venison is going, you're like, where's the venison? All we're seeing is vegetables. Where's the venison? It's a surprise, right? This is Lunchtime Live. I have an hour for lunch, and we're going to use it up, aren't we? No, we're not going to use it up. It's not going to take that long, actually. But wait, my hands on my apron here. But I got those dudes in there. See what they're doing? That's my mushrooms. We'll get them worked in good. We're going to need some more butter. But you got to have the dehydrated jalapenos. Anytime you're using those, you got to get them in early. Because unless you like them a little bit crunchy, but they like to spend a little time in the pan soaking up some of the juices so they can rehydrate those dehydrated jalapenos. And it doesn't take a lot of those to get a nice flavor from them. I love jalapenos. They're my absolute favorite pepper. There's a few of them on the back porch here. Summer is going to be a hot summer, pepper-wise, let's put it that way. Because there's also some habaneros there. Pretty cool. Destry Newsom, you guys are on here. I see some names I recognize. We got people saying we should have smell-o-vision. I am not the guy to invent that, but I can tell you, yeah, it already is starting to smell good. It really is starting to smell fantastic. Let's get a little more butter. Now, believe it or not, you can add too much butter because it'll get a little too greasy if you add too much butter. So you do want to keep them. You want to keep it so it's like lubricating the bottom of the pan, and the pan is not heating up and burning anything. I don't want burned onions. I want seared. I don't even want seared onions. I guess that's the wrong word. Actually, what I want is onions that are translucent and just still a little juicy. The mushrooms tend to absorb or release a lot of liquid too in this, and I'm seeing that already. So I got to cook that off. And the reason you want to cook that off is because our venison is also full of moisture. And we don't want all that moisture in our finished product. It'll make the bread soggy, reduces the quality of the overall finished cheese steak product. So we got to watch that. Pretty cool though. You see right here my refrigerator magnets. Those are Death by Bunjie refrigerator magnets, and I got like a cheat sheet here for the burners. You need to, it's not like gas. I'm used to cooking on gas, and with gas, you can more or less and just, adjust the heat real quick. With electric, you can't do that. It takes a while to heat up, takes a while to cool down. It's pretty picky stuff. So that's the thing with that. You have to listen to me real quick here when the dude here. I'm getting the colander all cleaned up for the venison. So I'm going to show you. Let's go over here and chat a little bit. We'll let that heat do its work, do its job, just like I got to do in a little bit. Go back to work. What can I show you? Well, I'll show you the venison we're going to use. Look at this right here. This is why this process is not going to take all that long. This, my friends of Bunjie, is a 2019 buck stew meat. It even says so right there in my handwriting. So what this is this is my Maryland buck, the big guy from Maryland, right? The guy that's hanging on the wall in the other room, in the trophy room. Hanging on the wall in there. And that buck is the source of this protein, this meat. And what I'm going to start by doing is we're just going to grab this little dude off my magnets, right, in our kitchen here. If you want something fun, well, first of all, thank you to the friend of Bunjie who sent me this. His wife was a wood burner and knows how to do this fancy stuff. We have this really slick, beautiful cutting board. Looks great there, doesn't it? Everglade seasoning, that is good stuff. I have had that on occasion. That is pretty good stuff. And I'm losing the comments. They're going away before I get a chance to see them, but I will get to the comments. These magnets are fantastic, though, for your kitchen, because you get to do that stuff. Since you are serving venison Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, I assume no wild turkey success yet. That's okay. You can't be... Yeah, you're onto something there. That's a good detective work right there. The fact that we are, in fact, turkey-free here in the Death by Bunjie household. Just to give you an idea what this looks like. I'm going to turn the light on, too. Get the Spoonula workout here today. See, these are already starting to shrink up a little bit. They're already starting to look like they're cooked. The bottom of the pan, you're probably going to steam over from all this. I'll keep you back from the heat, but the bottom of the pan is nice and moist because it's got a lot of those I rinsed those mushrooms out, and they are going to those are going to release a lot of moisture. So we got to cook that moisture off. When this is pretty dry, then we'll talk about putting the venison in there. But the venison is canned and takes, and I am not joking here, it takes like a second to do it. So I'm going to open this up. This ain't the most attractive product, okay? A lot of people look at canned venison and they're like, I don't like that. That's gross because of it, because of the way it looks. But get past that. Bear with me, right? Give me a chance to prove otherwise. 2019 Maryland buck. This thing has been on the shelf since November of 2019, probably December of 2019, something like that. And it is totally shelf stable. Pop the seal. And I'm going to show you this, and you're going to say, boy, that is disgusting. Who would eat that stuff? That is gross. It looks like dog food. It really does. It isn't the most attractive of products, right? Not when it is canned. But I want to show you. And I'm just going to pick a piece up. I'm the only one eating this stuff because this is all going to go in my lunch today. And if there's any left, I'll eat it tonight for dinner. But that's what it looks like right there. That, my friends, is canned venison. And you can see that that is the most perfectly cooked piece of venison you have ever seen in your life. It is cooked low and slow. It's cooked at about 240 degrees. In a pressure canner, it can go above the boiling point, above 212, because it's in a pressure canner for a period of time. And this stuff, you can eat it right like it is. Right out of the can. You don't even need all this stuff. Holy cow. Seriously, I had half of mine. You're going to have to forgive me for eating. Talking to you while I'm eating. Man, that's good. I'd have a mind to actually just cook can little half pint jars, little tiny ones. This is a pint, right? That's a pint. But I have a mind just to cook and can up some half pint ones just for snacks, just so I would have like a little half pint of venison to take with me and cook, like, or eat at lunch or something like that, or eat for a snack at work. But you can see in here, if we look in here now, I took the fat out, and I want to show you this. This fat builds up if you have a fatty deer. Some deer, depends on the deer, and that's one of the things I really, really like about, I'm going to get my rag over here. That's one of the things I really, really like about wild game, is that it's not the same every time, right? You go and you get a steak, and that steak, if you go to Outback Steakhouse and spend 20, 30 bucks on a nice dinner, you want that steak to be the same every time. One of the things I appreciate about venison is the fact that that's not the case, right? This stuff, it's, you know, this gear might taste better than the next gear, or a little bit different. Better is a subjective term, right? But sometimes this stuff tastes a little bit different than the other times. And different animals taste different, and it depends on what part of the country you're in. My Maryland deer sometimes taste different than my Pennsylvania deer. Pretty neat. One thing when we're talking about the deer, and look at this, man, that stuff is just... I made up my mind to do this morning, because I wrapped up in work just a little bit early for the morning, and I thought, I'll zip home and do this. I got these ingredients. I went home and I looked, and sure enough, I have exactly the ingredients I need to make this work. So, I'm really just winging this, but I've done this 100 times. I eat these cheesesteaks all the time. And it turns out I got 2 rolls, 2 slices of cheese. You know, I can throw a tomato on here, the rest of this tomato if I want to do that. I've got this. If I want to throw that on here, maybe I'll throw that on with them. I'll probably end up eating both of the sandwiches, and even though I said I wasn't gonna. But we'll play it by ear. But it occurred to me that this is actually a really good topic. Now, we had somebody saying, what about the turkey? No wild turkey yet. 100% we have not been on the turkeys. I'm this close to giving up on the wild turkeys in Pennsylvania. Maybe hunt opening day. But we sat Saturday for an extended period of time trying to roost some in a common roosting area that we had access to. And nobody even flew up near us. It really is. I saw a fox though. A fox carrying what I suspect was a dead turkey. So there's that. Got it on video, a little clip of it. It's pretty neat. I was just setting up and he ran through. So I love hunting turkeys, don't get me wrong, but I need a little bit more satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? I just need a little more reaction from them. You and Genevieve going to do another little horror skit, aka mini movie. Yeah, actually, we've got something in the works for that kind of stuff. I do like that. I do have a couple of ideas that we're playing with. There will be something during Crossbow Appreciation Month if all goes well. Some kind of a little skit type movie type thing, like a short film that Genevieve and I are working on. We've had ideas for years and sort of bounced ideas back and forth, but never had the opportunity to sort of get it done and get it all put together. This year is going to be a little bit different. Look how great the world is right now, right? We're getting past COVID, kinda, fingers crossed, everything's going well on that. But take the day off and go shoot the scorpion. No, I've got stuff this afternoon I do have to do, so this is an eat and run kind of thing, but it's totally worth it, right? Totally a fun thing to do, and I do intend, and I mean this, to do more of this kind of thing, these little live streams. You know, I like doing that stuff. I like talking to you guys, and some stuff has been going on, obviously. Everybody's got stuff going on, but I've had stuff going on just like everybody else. And that's finally getting past us. COVID is getting over with. Like, they finally lifted all the mask orders. I don't have to worry about that anymore. We've got a few options coming up with what we can do for a meet and greet, stuff like that. Playing with a couple of different ideas. Sign up for the Death by Bunjie free email newsletter if you haven't already. deathbybunjie.com. Sign up for that on there and you'll have an opportunity to see what that is. So when it comes time to announce that, we can all get together maybe, or have the option of doing it. I got a dirty cereal dish here that I'm going to strain the broth out of this jar into, because I don't like to run that broth down the, I don't like to run it down the drain, right? The broth is, and there's too much moisture in the broth. If you got time to cook all that off, that's not a problem at all. Ice maker is working, that's awesome. But if you have time to strain that off, or to cook it off in the pan, that's fine. But, and I'll show you what I did here. So here's my jar, if you guys can see it, I don't even know. But that's what the jar looks like. And then that's what the broth looks like. It's just the juice and the, you know, we don't need that in the finished product. So I don't like to run it down the drain because it might have, you know, you don't run it down the sink because it might have grease in it that ruins your pipes or something down the road. So, moment of truth, man, I'm going to see if I can finagle this a little bit better, because I think by looking at that, we're getting real close to putting the old venison in there, the venison, right? Man, this is going good. I'm glad you guys are joining me. That really makes my day. I am going to finagle my little tripod here. without it falling into the dinner. We don't want that to happen. That doesn't look like it's going to help much, does it? Is this better or worse? It ain't so good, is it? I don't know. That is not going to work. We're going to do it the other way. How's that? Let's see if this works. If you saw what this tripod looked like, man, well, I don't think we're going to be able to pull that off. I will one-hand this. How's that? I'm going to put it like this, and we're going to one-hand it. I'm right-handed. You guys are going to get a left-handed view. How's that? But that's what my onions and mushrooms are all looking like. You can see the jalapenos have pretty much disappeared in the bottom of that, but so has all the juice that those mushrooms let off, and those mushrooms have shriveled right up next to nothing. You know what we need, though? I don't think we can really call it good. I think we're going to have to put in a few more of the jalapenos. How about that? Okay? So we're just going to release a few more jalapenos into that mixture, and they'll cook right up. So you got to, one of the things about cooking, you can go through when you're cooking, and you can just say, well, a teaspoon of this, and a teaspoon of that, and a quarter cup of that, and then use the proper amounts, and you'll have a great product. It's so easy to do it that way, right? But to me, that's baking. Cooking, to me, is the fun of it is like the creativity, the sort of artwork, if you know what I'm saying. Venison, and that's correct, Crow Minion. You got it. Turkey hunting is a tough, fun hunt. It is. It really is. And every year I get all motivated for it again. And every year it seems to go the same, no matter how much time we put in on it. Real good at the very beginning. Tapers right off to next to nothing. We don't even get gobbles, no matter where I go. We mix it up on state game land. I spent a lot of time on state land this year, believe it or not. And which is a blast. In and out, setting up, all that good stuff. I know it's because I am a mediocre turkey hunter. But I want you to know I've watched just about every hunting public and a couple other channels video on the topic. And I'm big on the primos, learning how to use the calls, the whole bit. Spend a lot of time with that stuff. Every year I get a little more excited about it, and then it just seems to fall apart. It is what it is. Not a big deal. Cooking with Rich. Love the apron. Thank you, Raymond Cava. Well, here's the venison. It's going in. Are you ready? This is a moment of truth. I'm going to give you a front row seat. We're going to take this and get it right up there so you can see what's going on. And we're going to put that in here. There's my venison. So you can hear it sizzling. Wow, that's a cool thing. We got the sizzle going on. So we'll do that, and then I am gonna. You got to be able to see this a little bit. You got to be able to see it. So it's pink because remember it's kind of cooked rare, right? But all I'm going to do, this just needs to be heated up. This venison, right? I want to show you this. See that? That is actually already cooked. I could eat that, as you have seen. And man, I wanna pick it up and eat it right now. But I could eat that right now as my lunch. I don't have to heat it up. I don't have to do this. I could eat it cold if I wanted to. But if you wait just a little bit, I'm gonna put you back over here because you're gonna be all underexposed. But if you wait just a little bit and heat it up, and you put the time in on this stuff, you've got a quick, incredible, tasty meal that is going to go on my sandwich rolls, and it's going to be every bit as good as you can get anywhere on the planet, including Philadelphia. That's just how it is, and that's a fact. And I'm mixing it all in. You wait till you see what this looks like. You will agree. You will know just by looking at it how awesome this is. And a couple things I want to tell you. One is that 2019 buck that's hanging on my wall that contributed all of this canned goodness. Thank you very much. This is courtesy of my 2019 Maryland buck. And man, you would think a big 3-year-old buck like that, it wouldn't taste all that good. Wrong-o. I'm telling you, this thing, he's one of the best tasting deer I ever had. So don't let people tell you, don't shoot the big bucks so they don't taste as good. Sometimes that's true, but I shot a spike that same year. Remember that? I shot that spike in velvet, And I got to tell you, he does not taste as good as this big guy. That's a fact. So that's just me. That's just me. And it's going to vary deer by deer. It's going to depend on how you process those deer as well. Because sometimes you don't process them as well and you don't get as good a product. So that can really make a difference too. The other thing I want to point out is this canned venison. We are on the crux. Are you ready? Here's my prediction. Food prices in this country, especially meat, are going to skyrocket. So having stuff on your shelf that is shelf stable or frozen, that's ready to go, having the benefit of the skill of hunting and the ability to go out there and kill some wild game and provide for your family, that's going to be a pretty valuable skill for the foreseeable future for like the next 3 years. I honestly believe that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. If you have that, you can get through any kind of recession, any kind of problem as far as the future could possibly hold. Now, I tend to have this cheese on hand. There's a number of different cheeses you can use for this. In fact, I was toying with the idea of mixing in some Philly cream cheese, because believe it or not, that is awesome if you mix it in and make like a creamy cheesesteak. Philadelphia cream cheesesteaks. Does anybody know where that's from? Philadelphia cream cheesesteaks. It's from a song. But I'm using this. This is American I've got. Orange American, yellow American. Holy cow, is that going to look good on there? I'm going to grab this dude, a couple of these dudes, see if anybody got that lyric. I'll tell you, remind me, and I'll tell you where it comes from. But I'm just going to take this. I'm going to try and get it on there, and I'm just going to throw that one on there and that one on there. I've already turned off the burner, so the burner is off. In fact, I'm going to move that pan right off of the hot burner, and we can sit here together and watch that cheese melt. Right? And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to stir it in, but every time I set the tripod down, you get a good shake out of it. You can hear it stops sizzling. It's perfect. But I'm going to grab my roll. The cool thing about that is that, clear over here, you can still see me over here. So I'm going to grab one of these dudes right here. Right? These aren't my favorite ones. I really do prefer the torpedo rolls that you get, but I only had 2 of these left, and that's about perfect. So I'm just going to open them up like that. Open up one of these dudes. Grab myself a plate. Sorry I'm leaving you here. Wasn't thinking that far ahead. I'm going to get myself some paper plates to put it on. Set it right there. But then we're going to dress this up. And then I will show you. I'm going to take over to the table. And I'm going to, it's probably like, what time is it? 12:30. Perfect. I have just time to eat and get back to work. Perfect. How cool is this? This is perfect. Boar's Head White American. That is awesome. You can't beat that. That is good stuff. I've had that. I hope there's some for all of us. No, sorry about that. I don't have some for everybody. The song, by the way, was the Pennsylvania Shuffle on the same album as this lyric right here. I kill animals and eat their flesh. That's from the song Carnivore that I wrote. The Pennsylvania Shuffle has Philadelphia cream cheese steak. But a little bit of Philadelphia cream cheese, and you would heat that right up in here. It mixes in real nice. That'd be awesome. But really, can you beat this? Can you beat this? I'm just going to scoop this up on my spoonula and put it on this roll. You know the answer already. You know that it cannot be beaten. And that's a fact. And here it is in all of its perfection and glory. Boom. Boom. 2 slices of cheese. I'm going to set that over here. And I'm going to put that on there, right there. We're going to go over the table real quick. Hopefully you're real hungry. You made enough for 3. Yeah, I did. I wanted to use up all those mushrooms. I didn't want to have any of that stuff laying around, left over, anything like that. I wanted to make sure that this tripod, maybe that'll work. Woo, that was a lot of work, man. It's a lot different if you have somebody in a restaurant. Do they still make restaurants? Do they still do that? I don't know. But you can say what you want. Made enough for 3. But how on earth can I go back to work and not eat that? Right? And not probably have another one. Seriously, look at that dude, huh? Man, that does look good. This turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty impressed. I really, man, I'm starving too. I really did not know how this is going to work out because I came in here. I just made my mind up when I got out of work a touch early that I thought I would do this. Thanks, you guys. You said it looks good. I had to get those albums. I love your older videos because they started with your songs. I actually, when I first started this stuff, I was really pushing the music, and I get comments from time to time from folks who say, you know, you don't need that much music in here, and I get that. I didn't add pepper and salt to this. I'm going to put a touch on there now. I forgot to add that as I was cooking. But the music's a really a big part of me, and I do intend to do more with the music down the road. I have a lot more free time here at this house now, the way things are going, because I live closer to work. It gives me an extra hour a day living closer to work. I mean, who can ask for more than that, right? So look for more of the music down the road. The thing I like about cooking, and it can go both ways, is what I was saying before. You learn what different things do. So rather than follow a recipe, I like making it a little different every time, right? And then, you know, next time I think, oh, last time I made these cheesesteaks, it was really good when I did this one thing. And then this time when I do the cheesesteaks, it's really good when I did this one thing. And this time I forgot to put the salt on while I was cooking the venison in there. But that's okay. I put it on now. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You want proof? You want proof? Here it goes. I'm going to try and eat in front of you. Boy, that's great. We'll see how it makes out here. Got a little jalapeno in there. Got a little kick to it. Holy cow. You already knew it was awesome. Am I going to say otherwise? The jalapenos, though, wow. Maybe, I forgot I put those in there, but 2 loads of jalapenos, that actually made a little bit of a difference. And I didn't, you know, I'm winging this, right? We're having fun with this. Dude, you know, you guys, that turned out phenomenal. So here's what I want to leave you with. I'm going to finish up. I'm going to eat this stuff, get ready to get back to work so I can put the day away there and wrap it all up. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to leave you with this. I do think that we as hunters have an advantage over a lot of folks out there who are not going to have access to food this good. I mean, I'm not joking. I mean, I'm not bragging and not patting myself on the back. I am telling you that food for human beings does not get better than this. If you want to diet, you want to save some calories, you want to cut some carbs, eat this exact same thing without this. Maybe throw extra peppers in there, right? Not extra jalapenos necessarily, but some green peppers and onions and stuff like that. Load up on the other vegetables if you want to cut that stuff out. I happen to have 2 of these rolls, so I'm going to eat both of the rolls. I'm going to eat both of these for lunch. But we do as hunters have an advantage over a lot of other people out there because we have access to food this good. It takes a while to learn how to cook it, right? But man, it's all over out there, right? I have wild leeks. Check this out. I want to eat the rest of that, so I don't want to spend too much more time, but I'm being very selfish here. But check this out. I'll dig one of these out of here and show you what I got. This is the last of my wild leeks, right? So, and I'll show you what I got. It's just a brine I made with apple cider vinegar and sugar and some pickling spices and whatnot in there. Boiled that, brought it to a nice boil. And I'll see if I can grab one of these dudes, and I can. But look at this. Look at that. That's a wild leek. That's one of the wild ramps, right? The wild leeks that you see growing in the woods. It's just a bulb of it. But I pickled them and only got like 3 or 4 left. But holy cow, is that good. It's like onions and garlic all together. If I was thinking, I would have thrown some of them in on my cheesesteak, but when I pickle them, they're a great snack. So here's the thing. Don't be afraid of the kitchen. Store up your wild game. Do some canning. Get it in the freezer. Cook it up. If it goes wrong on the grill, I'm no good at the grill. If it goes wrong on the grill or if it goes wrong in the kitchen, no big deal. Just think about what you did. Do it a little different next time. Keep sharing those recipes. Get on the Facebook pages and enjoy all that stuff. Live it up. Take advantage of the fact that we as hunters have a little bit of an advantage over everybody else on the planet when it comes to eating. Because I think over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to see inflation. We're going to see shortages. We're already starting to see that, but I think it's going to be worse than I originally thought it is. So I'm just warning you. Be prepared for that and hold that wild game close, right? Get out there, and if the leeks are still out where you are, have a blast with this stuff. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in. Really, seriously. You friends of Bunjie, you mean the world to me. You really do. I'm going to eat my lunch. Thanks a lot, you guys, really. Talk to you soon.